What's good, YouTube family? Before we get started, I want all my followers and brand new people, and even if you're not a follower, I want you to hit that like button and go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and comment in the comment sections. I'm about to give my opinion about the Candace Owens versus T.I. during the REVOLT summit that they had over the weekend. I'm going to give my analysis, but right now I want you to hear Ebro and some of the hypocrisies that he gives in as he's introducing Candace Owens.
Candace Owens in the room, who, you know, she's been working to get into the rooms and have these conversations with black audiences that she normally has with her white supremacist MAGA maniac.
Now, you just heard what Ebro said, and I don't like pundits such as Ebro who continue to exploit and exploitation in the so-called black communities. He started off by saying Candace Owens started speaking to the black so-called community, and yet she does almost a similar thing to the white supremacist community and the MAGA maniacs. And my thing about plantation Democrat people like Ebro, who's also a half, you know what, and also a half white and black. The other half, I don't want to say what he is because I can get in trouble by YouTube. I'm just showing you these type of people. I don't care about the race. Yes, I voted for Donald Trump, but we'll get into that more. You can get mad at me, but I'm going to show you my points as far as the black community and the brainwashing that continues to go on. Ebro, who gives more praise to black so-called artists who have committed black terrorism in black communities. Yes, black terrorism that they never call out until it gets out of hand. And even then, that platform, Hot 97, has been within all the beefs in the so-called hip-hop era, but yet that doesn't get called out. I'm sorry, my rant is going to continue. Now listen to Candace Owens and T.I.'s gives their opinion, and watch the Southern hospitality gentleman T.I. attack this woman.
Run that. This is T.I. and Candace Owens.
When you say make America great again, which period are we talking about? The period when women couldn't vote? The period when we were hanging from trees?
I'll answer.
Or like the crack era? Which period in America are you trying to make America like?
So I actually think that I would totally rock a hat.
T.I., first of all these points that you just talked about, we were able to vote in X, Y, and Z. My nigga, first of all, that party was the Democratic Party, a.k.a. the Dixiecrats. I can't stand young brothers who want to be young, but you're really an old fool with no knowledge at all. And secondly, T.I., the fact that you're yelling at this lady with the typical rants you expect from the people in our community, the same rants you guys been doing for well over 100 years that gets people nowhere. Now, if you guys started a campaign and said you don't believe in voting or whatnot, I'll leave you alone and kind of tend to agree with you. Even though I did vote, I do vote. But I would agree with you. But the fact you're getting mad that people are voting for Donald Trump and you're not showing the other solution as far as why are you scared to just tell people don't vote? What hidden narratives and agendas that you have, you know, Mr. Hot 100 Tips? Remember, you called the hotline to snitch?
Period in America are you trying to make America like?
So I actually think that I would totally rock a hat right now that said make Black America great again. Because Black America, before,
we're talking about make America.
You see that? The man wouldn't even let the woman talk. You got so brolic and brave with a female, and I'm not sipping at all for Candace Owens. I want to show you the narrative of these fools. First of all, when the fuck did we make T.I., T.I.P., a fucking black represents? Like, this is the embarrassment of this so-called community and even the genre of hip-hop at times. Any fool who speaks so well and can articulate himself, this nigga or this fucking Jezebel now becomes a spokesperson, i.e. Black Lives Matter, for our entire community. We have to stop doing that. We're not a monolith. And first of all, if you're going to pick a so-called black quote-unquote leader, look at the forum that is being used to speak. I mean, the fact that REVOLT is doing a forum. Now, follow the breadcrumbs of REVOLT and don't just tell me Puff Daddy. And that's the problem with you niggas. You call this is the voice of the people. None of these platforms are the voice of the people. They're corporations. And let's continue on with the interview.
America great that we're trying to replicate. Which era was it? Tell me.
I think I'll answer your question.
Tell me.
Like Candace Owens is trying to answer T.I. This effeminate brother keeps interrupting her. Now she's like, I'm trying to answer it. You got to remember, she has more balls than any weak ass hip hop artist on that platform. Majority of the hip hop artists on that platform didn't have any balls back in the days to speak out against all these issues. Now, T.I. has never been a voice to speak out against these issues. All of a sudden, he got in legal trouble and became irrelevant. Now you... almost like for the last 7 years, he's become this fake ass activist who contradicts every single word that he speaks. Because meanwhile, he's still putting out and pushing out music that continue to disparage that same community. And T.I., when you say to Candace, when was America ever great for black people, this and that? When have you ever made black America great? What, when you were slinging crack up in the trap house? When you made that trap museum for us?
Which era was so great?
Here's the thing that you guys are forgetting. America was actually one of the... Slavery was all over the world. All over the world. America was... I'm not saying it's okay, so why are you saying, oh?
Hey, man.
America was one of the first countries. I'm trying to answer your question, but I can't. I'm trying to answer your question.
I want to like you.
Y'all see that? Candace has yet to respond. Not only is she going against a crowd of people from Atlanta, you know, the city of Atlanta, which I've lived in Georgia before. I've seen how Atlanta gets down, just like my neighborhoods and your neighborhoods. Trash and filth, and niggas say nothing because they want to be cool. So let's glorify the fucked up part. And now let's highlight Candace Owens as this black problem in our communities. Meanwhile, Negroes such as T.I. and many other people in that Atlanta environment, in that crowd booing her, says nothing to the crime that continues happening every day to their cities that they hold no accountability for. T.I., you're a walking trash, bro. Have you showed the same proper decorum for Kodak Black when he said what he said to Nipsey Hussle? Did you have the same love for black people when Kodak Black did what he did? Exactly.
I want to be able to hear
now. If you can't answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of...
No, I'm not.
You're making light of...
I haven't gotten...
T.I. is literally being a bitch. She still has yet to respond because the hoe that he is, the simp that he is, the wife Tiny walking all over him, allowing bitch has made alpha simp beta male that T.I. is continue to prove me. And if you're from Atlanta, Georgia, you know I'm right. Now, if you're from Atlanta, Georgia, and you side with T.I. and you accept everything he says, then you're the bitch ass motherfuckers I'm talking about. And if you're from Atlanta, Georgia, and you hear the bitchness in T.I. and you agree with me and many others who say T.I. is a walking fool and a rude ass nigga that didn't let Candace Owens even give off her opinion, then you, sir, and you, ma'am, give me hope for the people of Atlanta and the black so-called communities.
I haven't gotten to my points. I'm not making...
people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing you
haven't
breeze
even
over.
finished the sentence. How am I making
You
light of
started
anything?
with some bullshit.
Okay.
So
You guys heard that? I'm going to rewind it just so you can know the bitchness and T.I. Then I'm going to give my soliloquy, whatever you want to call it. Listen to your boy T.I.P. again. This man is a bitch, man, period. In fact, let's put it on the screen. This is the whole T.I.P.
For the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of...
No, I'm not.
You're making light of...
She never made light of it. You never fucking gave her the time to give her opinion, bitch ass nigga.
I haven't gotten to my points. I'm not making...
people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing.
Okay, she never made light of enslavement, but you say people can't make light of enslavement, but you make light of the crimes and the selling drugs to your people every day. In fact, that's what got you to fame. You made light of that.
I haven't even finished the sentence. How am I making light of anything?
With some bullshit.
Okay.
I'm done, man. T.I. is a grown-ass fool that proves my point about the so-called black communities. T.I. is a goddamn father. He's supposed to be an elder by now. Not an elder, but judging by this young community, you can somewhat say an elder. But this man supposed to be having guidance, whatnot, and knowing A to B to Z, the actual demographic problems that we suffer from systemically from white supremacy, or let's talk about the real one, systemically from black terrorism. black terrorisms from the, I'm not going to even use the word black on black crime. I'm going to say black terrorisms with the faces in your communities that you guys are familiar with. The fact that you did not let Candace Owens speak at all, it tells me everything I need to know about these so-called revolt forums and these black city council meetings and all. It's a buffoonery. It's for all these fancy black people. Yeah, they're from the hood, but they get dressed nicely, all look good, shit on people, and talk about white supremacy, this and that. Meanwhile, have no real solutions and still keep talking about white people did this and that, Jim Crow laws, and not talking about any of the black terrorism that's going on in their communities. And at the same time, letting T.I. be the representative and spokesperson for black people. At the same time, T.I. has never called out the music he's done and the so-called new formula that's known as trap music he's brought out to the world. In fact, he even made a fucking museum that's called the Trap Museum. If you can't get more embarrassing than that, and I'm not talking about I'm putting my head down for white supremacy, that no, as a fucking human being who feels some type of way about his communities, who tries to do the best that he can do, not that I'm better than anybody else, to watch this fool speak every day up and down as if he's TIP for real, I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, and whether you agree with Candace Owens or not, that display of being civil to one another, that's the clear-cut example of why you can't help the hood anymore. The hood is finished. When TIP becomes a spokesperson of black people, that's all I need to know about the so-called hip-hop culture. Damn.